Hi guys, it's Nicole here, the Harmonious Hippie. Today we're just going to be doing a quick little lower body based practice. It's going to be mainly on the floor. There won't be any standing postures in this practice. I will also like to begin with some journaling. I have a little bin that has journaling prompts in it that I pull every day. So if you could grab a journal and a pen, maybe some crystals that are resonating with you right now. I also have a candle and I'm going to light some Palo Santo. So if you would like to bring a candle and maybe some sage or Palo Santo or anything else that you might like to burn before your practice, then you can do that. Otherwise, you just need maybe some water, anything like that. And I am so glad you're here joining me. Let's get started. Okay guys, so I'm just starting out with an essential oil that I'm gonna roll onto my wrists just for throughout the practice. I'm using the Adore Therapy Chakra Boost essential oil. These ones are really nice because they have them separated per chakra, so you can get one for the specific chakra or issue that you're looking for. This one is for the third eye, so this is the clarity one, and it has a little affirmation kind of on the side, so it says I see, which is used kind of for the third eye chakra, is seeing your future, your dreams, desires met, that kind of thing. So I'm just gonna roll on a little bit of that just so I can kind of smell it throughout my practice. Sometimes I'll put a little bit on my mat, but do be careful with that if it is an essential oil, because you don't want your mat to get slippery or stained or anything like that. So I have my candle lit here and I'm just gonna light a little bit of Palo Santo. You can light some sage or anything that feels good for you. This just helps to clear the energy in the room. So Palo Santo is really good for bringing positive energy in, whereas sage will typically be the opposite, where it's there to remove negative energy. So I like to, when I move into a new house, or if I've had a bad experience in my own place, or it's just been a while, and I want to clear out the energy in my whole house, I will go through and sage the entire house in a clockwise motion, and then I will go in after that with Palo Santo. So with sage, you want to leave a window or the doors open. Obviously I've got the cats, so I can't can't have too much open, but I try to open up at least a window because you want to get the idea of letting that negative energy out. So then I close all of that up before I do the Palo Santo so that we can keep the positive energy in. But aside from that, if you're not as much of a crazy hippie as I am, it just smells really good. And sage has really good properties that actually helps to like deter insects from being in your house, just the scent of it, I guess. So that can be really nice as well. If, like me, I have a screened in porch, but obviously little bugs and stuff can still get in, and I like to leave the door open sometimes so the cats can go in and out. So for that kind of a thing, it would be nice to use sage because then the bugs don't really come in, you don't really notice them. So I will just set that down here in a way that will not burn the house down. As I previously mentioned in my intro, I've got a crystal with me. This is my Peach Moonstone, and this one is just calling to me lately, especially around moon time for women. Guilty. This is a really good crystal to help with anything of the feminine energy kind of issues, and the Peach Moonstone is also really good for like awakening and that kind of thing. So I've got that near me, got my candle lit, and now if you would like to go ahead and grab your journal, we're just gonna do a really quick journaling prompt. I've got a little bin here. I found a site that had a bunch of them just on there. You can kind of just Google for journaling prompts, and I just cut them all up and stuck them in here, and I just draw one every day. So getting that ready, this is my journal. It's very beautiful. I don't know if you can see it shining in the moonlight. It's rose gold. My friend got it for me for Christmas and I'm obsessed with it. Okay, so let's pull our journaling prompt. Just gonna grab one out here. All right, so before we get going, let's just center ourselves really quickly. So just rolling the shoulders up and back. Depending on how you're feeling in this moment, you can have your palms face down for grounding or palms up for receiving. You can also bring one hand to the belly, one hand to the chest to really feel your breath. Whatever feels comfortable for you, whatever you're feeling called to do. And just quickly tuning inwards here. Noticing how the body feels. Noticing how your mind feels. Are you feeling really frantic and anxious? Are you angry about something, stressed, frustrated? Maybe you're just calm and happy. Just allowing whatever is there to be there. Observing it as if it's a cloud passing by. Beginning at the top of the head, we're going to scan down through the body. Again, as usual, just noticing any sensations in any areas that you scan past, but not lingering anywhere for too long, just getting a broad picture of what's going on in your body. And noticing if you're holding anywhere, gripping, maybe you can release that as you scan past it. Just dropping down into the earth, to this moment. As you come towards the end of your scan, coming through the lower body, beginning to just notice little things around you in the room. Maybe there's some scents. If you did burn some Palo Santo or sage, maybe you can smell that. Maybe someone was cooking recently and you can smell that. Feeling air on your skin. If you're outside, perhaps it's windy, rainy, or maybe you're inside and you can feel the fan on you. Maybe there's heat around you. Just really bringing yourself into the present moment in this exact space that you're in. And tuning towards your breath, pulling it deep into your belly, energizing the body with it, feeling it breathing into your lungs. Perhaps slowing down the breath slightly and deepening there. Perhaps you're already feeling like you're sinking in and relaxing. Or maybe this is making you feel even more anxious or stressed. Just allowing whatever comes up to be there. There's no right or wrong here, so you're allowed to experience your moment however you choose or however it is presented to you. Take a deep inhale through the nose. And opening the mouth, exhale. Let's take 2 more cleansing breaths like this. Deep inhale through the nose. Opening the mouth. Finding those last little bits of stress and tension in the body. Breathing them up. And exhale, releasing those out. And blinking the eyes open. Let's go ahead and take out our journals now. Just finding a comfortable seat for this. We won't be here too long. So the prompt that I pulled out, oh, this is cute. Maybe like me, you've been feeling a little bit down in the dumps lately. The quarantine snacks, man, they call to me. And then I feel bad after. What is that? Ugh, society, man. There's no box I need to fit in. I'm here. I'm allowed to be. I'm allowed to take up spaces. So are you. Okay, our journaling prompt. Make a small list of things that you are good at and or passionate about and brainstorm ways that you could make money off of those things. Make a small list of things that you are good at and or passionate about and brainstorm ways that you could make money off of those things. So just coming to your journal here. We're only gonna journal for a short bit here, so it is the 30th of July today. At least that's when I'm recording this. Okay, one last time. What we are doing now is we are making a small list of things that you are good at and or passionate about, and brainstorm ways that you could make money off of those things. And if nothing comes to mind, maybe just start writing and just see where that takes you. Just continuing that for a moment. Beginning to complete your idea. And coming towards the close. Perhaps finishing your last thought or sentence. Just setting aside your pen and your journal. If you do have a candle sitting by you, of course, just making sure that you are safe. Ensuring that you don't have that too close in case you do reach your arms out to the sides. You don't want to have any issues with the candle right by your hand. So just setting up your space in a nice, safe way. Into a comfortable seat. And we're going to start, as we always do, with a Sufi grind, also known as Siri Om. This is actually a posture that is used mainly in Kundalini yoga, but it is such a nice way to wake up the hips and the spine, so I like to start with that always, whether it's Kundalini or not. So just beginning to rotate your upper body. You can make your circles as big or as small as you'd like. Inhaling, the chest comes forward, and exhaling, curling back. You can always start to bring the neck and head into this motion, perhaps making it quite exaggerated. You can close down the eyes here if that's comfortable. Just moving with your own breath. Waking up that spine. And on your next next inhale, just switching directions. Rotating around. Completing your last circle. Just beginning to come back to a neutral spine here. We're gonna open the arms out to the sides. Maybe your fingertips are just brushing the ground. That's totally fine. We're gonna drop one ear to the shoulder, whichever feels best for you, and you can start to open up with the opposite hand. If this is comfortable, you can stay here. You can always bring that same hand up just to rest on the side of the head. You don't want to be pulling or anything too heavy. Just adding a tiny bit more stretch there. You can always tilt the chin down if that's comfortable, or perhaps tilting the chin upwards will feel better for you. Or just leaving the head neutral. I like to roll my wrist of the open hand here just to really stretch into that shoulder and arm. And releasing that down, bringing the head back to center and dropping that over to the opposite shoulder, making sure that you're not shrugging your shoulders up to the ears, keeping that extended down, feeling that lengthening on the neck and the shoulder, stretching that arm out. Perhaps bringing the hand to the side of the head, maybe rolling your wrists out a little. And releasing that down, head comes back to center. I'm just going to do a couple of neck rolls here, so dropping the ear to one shoulder. Beginning to roll, slowly roll the chin down and over to the other side. So we're just doing half circles, but if you would like to do full circles and it feels comfortable with your neck, you can go ahead and do that. Just slowly flowing with your breath here, loosening out the neck, loosening out the shoulders. Completing your last circle. And bringing the head back to center here. We're just going to stretch out the wrists quickly. So extending your left arm forward, creating a fist, and just tipping that down. You can use your right hand to pull that in towards you and begin to feel the stretch down the top of the forearm and the top of the wrist and hand. Breathing, keeping that elbow stretched out. Releasing that hand, leaving your arm facing forward. You can twist your wrist or your fist, if you will. It all rhymes. Inwards, and then begin to pull that in as well so that you get a little bit of movement of where this is stretching in the forearm. And releasing that, we're now going to go back to center and now twisting out. Again, grabbing that and pulling it towards you. Only using as much pressure here as is comfortable and feels good. You want to make sure that you're not hurting yourself at all. And releasing that, we are going to move right into an extended arm, pulling the fingers back towards you. And using your right hand, you can begin to pull the fingers back. Again, making very sure that you are not pulling too hard, that you hurt your fingers or hurt your wrist or anything like that. Just doing what's comfortable for you today in this moment. So pulling those fingers straight back towards you, trying to keep that elbow straight if you can. Feeling that stretch along the wrist. And like we did with the other one, we're going to tilt that fingers in and start to pull that towards the face. So you should feel this in the outer area of your wrist. Making sure you're breathing. And then wiping the fingers out to the side, pulling that in. So this one you should start to feel down the inside of the wrist. And letting that go, maybe giving that a roll or a quick little shake. We're gonna move right to the other side. So creating a fist and tilting down, arm is straight, pulling that fist towards you, towards your armpit. Releasing the forearms. And twisting that inwards and pulling it towards you. Getting a stretch along this inner part of the top of your wrist. And then twisting out, pulling that in. And releasing that, we are going to tip the wrist up now, facing the hand forward and pulling those fingers towards your face. Extending through the elbows so that you feel that stretch in your wrist. These are really good stretches that you can do at your desk if you have a desk job or something where you're typing a lot. I would suggest doing these every day just to make sure that you are working out any tension that's in your wrist. Tilting inwards with that wrist. Would you believe I just painted my nails yesterday and they're already chipped? Silly. Twisting that out and pulling towards you. This is the last one. And releasing that, giving your wrists a shake here, making sure that you shake both outward like this and then also up and down. Just get all ranges of motion in there. Maybe roll the wrists a couple times. And we are going to move into Baddha Konasana. So bound angle pose. So this one you're going to want to bring the soles of your feet together. You can move forward on your prop or you can come off of it if that's comfortable as well. You can hold onto your shins or your feet, just making sure that you're not sinking into your lower back. You want to be sitting up straight and tall. So just inhaling here. We're going to do a couple of cat-cow motions, seated though. So you do want to use your legs for traction here to kind of pull against. But you can move your heels as close or as far from you as you would like. That's kind of just a personal preference thing, just making sure that you're really getting that undulation in the spine. So like with a standard cat-cow, we're gonna inhale and peel the shoulders back, opening the chest, perhaps dropping the head back if that's comfortable, and releasing the belly. Inhaling deeply here and just letting your belly fall out. And then exhaling, starting to curl back. You can pull against your shins here, really pressing into that upper back, dropping the chin. Exhaling fully, and then extending forward again. You can close down the eyes here and flow with your own breath. Just working into your spine. Getting some more movement. This is a nice alternative to the standard cat-cow where you're in tabletop if you do have issues with your wrists. This way you can still get the benefits, but without having to be on your hands. Exhale. Coming back to a neutral spine, again rising up out of the sit bones, up out of the hip joints, and beginning to come forward with a flat back. Make sure that you come all the way forward with your flat back as far as you can, and when you feel like you hit your wall, that's when you can inhale, create a little bit of space, and then exhale, folding down, releasing the head. Breathing here. are going to come down off of our props now. If you would like to bring a folded up blanket under your knees, you can do that here since we're going to be on our knees for a little bit now. Oh, so coming onto your knees with your toes untucked, feet flat, we're going to come into camel pose. If this is hard on your lower back or if you are pregnant, I would suggest doing baby camel, which is where you keep your hands placed on the base sternum area and then just do the baby back bend there. Just being very careful not to open too much in the front body and not to crack into your spine either. If you are doing full camel, you want to tuck the tailbone like you would with any standing back bend, making sure that you're keeping your core engaged. Rolling the shoulders back, perhaps having the hands in Anjali Mudra, heart center, or you can always come in as if you are going to do baby cobra from the beginning and just have the hands placed on the lower back. So inhaling up, you want to think of going up and over a beach ball or something. You don't want to just crack straight back. So inhale, grow nice and tall, engaging in the core, keeping that core engaged to make sure that you keep the lower back protected. Starting to come down. You can drop the head back if that's comfortable. If you want to keep the arms up, you can, or you can start to drop back and reach for the heels here. So this one is quite an intense stretch in the stomach. So making sure that you carry on breathing. Sinking the hips forward in this pose. And coming up, just engaging the core. Coming up slowly, releasing down. Opening the knees wide, let's come into a little child's pose here for a moment. So just sinking back towards the heels with your bum. You can reach the arms forward, or you can always bring them down by your sides if that's more comfortable on your shoulders. And just bringing the forehead down onto the mat. Breathing here. And inhaling, coming up. Planting the hands at the front of the mat, making sure that you're rooting through all of the knuckles, curling the toes under. And let's lift the hips up, coming into downward facing dog. Pedaling out the feet here, making whatever moves you need to release the body here in your potentially first downward dog of the day. Maybe swing the hips side to side. Inhaling, gazing up at the hands. Let's take a big step or a hop to the front of the mat. Coming into your forward fold. Let's open the feet about mat width apart or wider, but not quite as wide as you would for a typical wide-legged forward fold. And you can just rock side to side here, reaching for opposite elbows. You could shake the head yes or no. Just releasing in the back. You can also bend into the legs here. Just beginning to wake up the hamstrings a little bit. And now working the toes out side to side. This is how I kind of like to wiggle my way into Malasana or garland pose. I start to just wiggle my feet out until I can come down. I like to keep my toes open in this pose just because I have a little bit of bow legs and my knees like to try to come in. So I can't comfortably do this pose with parallel feet. And you also may not be able to come down to flat feet, which is totally fine when you're working towards it. You can always be up on your toes here. But just coming to where is comfortable for you. You can also bring your bum to a block, using the elbows in your prayer hands to press the knees out wide. And reversing that, we're gonna stand up, dropping down into that forward bend. Releasing that out. Last time, we're gonna come down back into Malasana, garland pose. And then just slowly releasing all the way down to seated. Extending the legs out in front of you. Flexing the toes back towards your face. Straightening the legs as much as you can, as much as is comfortable. And not pulling out your bum flesh here. That sort of leaves the hamstring exposed just the way that it hooks into the sit bone. So you don't want to move out of the way, but I just like to give a little wiggle just so I get onto the flattest part of my bum here. And then extending up out of the hips. And we can inhale the arms up overhead. And begin to fold over your legs. Again, you want to make sure that you keep your back as straight as possible for as long as possible. So hands can come onto the shins or ankles. It can be beside the legs, grabbing onto the feet, whatever's comfortable. Again, making sure that the feet are kept active and flexed here. And just coming to where you can before you start to curl down into this pose. And inhaling back up. Extending one foot out to the side and bringing the other into the upper thigh. We're going to extend up high from the hips and begin to come out over that bent foot. Again, keeping those toes flexed. Just breathing here, stretching into the hamstrings. Slowly coming back up and switching legs, extending the opposite leg out long, flexing the toes back, and then bending one leg into the upper thigh. Inhaling, creating space, extending up high, and then exhaling, getting to come down over that bent leg. Noticing where you feel sensation here and trying to send the breath energetically to that point. And slowly coming back up. Extending both legs out again. We're going to pull the right knee up high, planting the foot as close as you can to your bum, keeping that left leg flexed. You are going to wrap your arm around your right bent knee, or you can always come on the inside of it, whatever is comfortable for you. I just like to use my hand instead of coming all the way around it. So whatever works for you. Inhaling that right arm up, you're going to twist it around behind you. Inhale, grow nice and tall, and exhale, twisting towards that back shoulder. Breathing deeply into the belly here, feeling that massage of the organs against that bent knee. And inhale, head to center, followed by the rest of the body, releasing that leg out. And pulling up the opposite leg, making sure that you keep your toes flexed and active, inhaling that left arm up, And exhaling behind you. Inhales create space, and exhales allow you to twist a little bit deeper. And inhaling, head back to center, followed by the rest of the body. We're going to sweep the feet around and come back forward to our tabletop position here. And we're going to twist our right foot so that it comes out sideways here. And then we're going to plant the right hand and start to twist open so that all of your weight is on your right knee and your right hand. Planting that foot, you can inhale the arm up to the sky, gaze can be up at the thumb or down at the hand. And you can even float that back leg. If you would like, you can begin to reach around, reaching for that back foot, squeezing here to extend and pull open the front body in this balance pose. And releasing that back, planting that foot down, and rotating the body back to center. We're going to open up our left foot, rotating open so that the left hand and the left knee are planted onto the ground. Inhaling that arm up, perhaps lifting the foot. And if you would like, you could reach for the foot here and stretch open that front body. Releasing that back out. Placing the foot back on the ground and revolving back to your tabletop. We're going to step our right foot forward here. Coming into a low lunge, you can bring a blanket under your knee if you would like that. Sinking forward, ensuring that your knee stays over your hip joint, or my apologies, your knee stays over your ankle joint. So sinking into that left hip flexor here, you want to make sure that your hips stay even. And we can bring both hands to the inside of that foot, and you can begin to walk your right toes out at a, like 45-degree angle, and you can roll out onto the side of your foot so that your knee peels open slightly. So just coming into a variation of lizard pose here. If you have a block handy and you would like to stack that up, you can sink down onto the forearms here, stretching into that hip flexor. Breathing here. If you would like, you can also lift off that back toe and come into full flying lizard. Noticing if you're gripping anywhere, holding on to tension, and just breathing into it, letting that release. And beginning to come back up. We can slowly sink that leg back and just opening the knees out wide, sinking back into your child's pose for a moment. Forehead coming to the mat. And inhaling, coming back up onto all fours and stepping the left leg forward, sinking into that front hip. Again, making sure that your knee and your ankle are stacked. Hands can come to the inside of that foot. You can wiggle that foot open more, perhaps rolling onto the side of the foot and opening the knee. Coming into your lizard pose, you can bring in a block so that you can sink onto your forearms here. Breathing into that hip. coming back up. Oof, releasing that leg back and opening the knees wide, coming back into your child's pose. And sinking forward onto the belly here. We are going to take the hands open a little bit wider from where you would have them for your baby cobra, and just tenting the fingers here. And rolling the shoulders up and back, pressing into the fingers. We're gonna inhale up, and then exhale back down. Just flowing with your own breath here. Beginning to wake up that spine a little bit in the lower back. Stretching into the belly slightly. And releasing that down. Forehead can come to the hands. We're going to come into locust pose now. So bringing the hands down by the sides, palms can be face up or face down. We're going to peel the shoulders back and begin to lift the upper body using the strength of the back, and then lifting the back body as well. Engaging throughout your back, pulling the hands back towards the feet, squeezing here, and release. Dropping an ear to the side, to the mat. Letting the heels fall open wider than the toes, letting that release. And we'll do that one more time. So extending the arms back. And peeling the shoulders back, lifting the upper and back body, squeezing that all together. Squeeze, 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 and releasing the opposite ear. Deep breaths here. Feeling the belly pressing into the floor. And inhaling, head back to center. You can do locust pose again here, or you can reach for your feet and come into bow pose. So lifting the feet up, you can reach around for one or both feet, and then using your feet against your hands, pulling yourself up, balancing on the belly like you were in locust. Breathing here, stretching the belly, and releasing that down. Opening the shoulder out to the side. Let's stretch the right shoulder first. So keeping the hand in line with your shoulder, beginning to roll to the side over that shoulder. If you would like, you can lift the left foot and begin to twist that open. Just coming to where it's comfortable for you, not pushing too hard. And rolling back through center, extending the left arm out to the side, and rolling over. And inhaling back to center. Let's roll over onto our backs here. And coming into figure four. So lifting up the left foot and crossing that ankle over the right knee. Energetically pressing that left knee out to the side, keeping the toes flexed and active to protect the knee. You can stay here if that's comfortable, Or if you would like a bit more, you can reach through your legs, interlacing the fingers behind your hamstrings or on top of your shin, and releasing the shoulders and the head back down to the ground, pulling that knee in towards you. Sending the breath into that glute and hip. And releasing the hands, keeping the legs in that figure four. You can start to roll them over, dropping them to the right side, planting that left foot down, perhaps pressing the knee open, perhaps holding the ankle, rotating the left arm open. Gaze can be at that left thumb or up at the ceiling if that's more comfortable on your neck. Feeling that twist in the belly and the hip. And inhaling the head back to center, followed by the knees. Dropping the knees back down, both feet are flat. And then lifting up the right foot and crossing the ankle over the left knee. Again, energetically pressing that right knee open. Staying here or reaching through the figure four to pull that knee closer towards you. Extending through the hip. Flexing both feet back to keep the knees safe. And releasing the hands, dropping that right foot towards the ground, opening the right arm to the side. Gaze can be at that thumb or up at the ceiling. Breathing into the twist here. Inhaling the head back to center, followed by the rest of the body. Let's pull the legs up into a happy baby. So extending the knees towards your armpits. You can reach for your shins or your ankles, perhaps reaching for the feet. And pulling with your hands against the feet while pressing the feet up towards the ceiling. This will extend your lower back along the floor. You can rock side to side here. You can straighten one leg a little bit, bend the other. Just moving slowly, making sure you're doing what feels good in your body. And now coming down, extending the legs out long, coming into your Shavasana. Letting the toes fall open. If this is hard on your lower back, you can always bring the heels up to mat width apart and let the knees fall in towards each other. You can always take fetal position. Just getting out some last wiggles, coming to your final resting pose. Coming into stillness. Feeling the sensations created in your body with that practice. Noticing what's moving. Maybe there's some unexpected emotions that have risen up. Just dropping down, surrendering. Feeling your body sinking into the earth. Letting it all go. deepen the breath. Coming back into the body. Bringing some tiny movements into the fingers and toes. Perhaps rolling the wrists and ankles. Reaching the arms overhead and stretching the body out long, letting out any sighs or yawns. And when you're ready, just slowly coming to roll onto your right side in the fetal position, using the right arm as a pillow, just resting here for a moment. That left hand to help press you up. Just coming back to a comfortable seat. Eyes can come to a close, hands come to heart center, Anjali Mudra. Just bowing the head slightly here. Taking a moment to feel gratitude for yourself, for taking time out of your day to do something that's good for you and nourishing for you. Feeling a moment of gratitude for your body, for carrying you throughout your day and throughout your practice. And then taking a moment to send gratitude to something else in your life. This can be anything. It can be your spouse, your children, your pets, your morning coffee. Anything here, just find something else that you are grateful for in this moment. And let that feeling fill you up. Carrying this feeling with you through the rest of your week, through the rest of your day. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings everywhere be happy and free. The divine light in me honors and bows to the divine light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much, everyone, for joining me. I apologize about my iPad dinging at the end there. Thank you so much. Please comment down below, like this video if you enjoyed this practice, and comment, and I would love to chat with you in the comments. Subscribe to my channel if you haven't already, and you can hit the bell icon to get a notification every time that I post a new video. I post every Saturday, and then will occasionally post during the week if the mood strikes. I hope you really enjoyed this quick little lower body practice today. And just let me know what you'd like to see from me, and I will see you back here next week. Namaste.